Director General of the Philippines National Commission for UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Ivan Anthony Henares.
Maayong aga sa inyong tanan, maya pa do kay Kongan, and it's a pleasant day for us to be gathering today. Please allow me to convey my sincerest gratitudes to the organizers, led by Dr. Ricardo Velasco, Visayas Founding Chair of 170 Plus Talaytayan MLE Incorporated, Dr. Clement Camposano, the Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Visayas, and Ms. Vicky Tauli Corpus, Executive Director of the Tentero Foundation. Of course, we would also like to acknowledge the presence of UN Special Rapporteur on Minority Issues, Dr. Fernand de Varen, colleagues from UNESCO Jakarta, Ms. Esther Dina Sihombing, the Department of Education Undersecretary Gina Gono, and Dr. Thomas LeBlanc, the Education Office Director of USAID in the Philippines. I am glad to join you in this timely gathering to keep our momentum alive towards our second year into the International Decade of Indigenous Languages. And as mentioned by Dr. Velasco earlier, we are also celebrating today the 24th edition of the International Mother Language Day, with its theme, Multilingual Education, a Necessity to Transform Education. Without a doubt, language in any form is a tool that plays a critical role for the advancement of human civilization. It has provided not only a systematic form of communication, but rather it has become a symbol for establishing identity and communal affinity. Like any other tools for development, language similarly evolves to reflect the ever-changing realities of time, but remains to be a faithful representative of our values, traits, and cultural diversity. Sadly, the threats to its very existence are not the external changes that we have observed, but rather our inability to remain faithful to it as we navigate these truly interesting but challenging times. In fact, the UN Permanent Forum reported that about 40% of the estimated 6,700 indigenous languages worldwide are in danger of disappearing. In the Philippines, 4 of our languages were already considered extinct by UNESCO, and several other languages are also being monitored by the Komisyon sa Wikang Filipino for their impending extinction. While language enables education and self-expression, 40% of students worldwide lack access to education in the language they speak or are capable of understanding. During the Transforming Education Summit last year, UNESCO emphasized that education should not be merely equated with literacy and numerical skills. It should also promote a humanistic and transformative education that empowers learners of all ages to face the setbacks of a modernizing world while recognizing their roots and identities. It is in this context that UNESCO strives to capitalize on celebrations like Mother Language Day and the International Decade of Indigenous Languages as a platform to inspire and mobilize actions locally and internationally. These include recognizing the many ways of speaking about the world, committing to preserve linguistic diversity, and promoting high-quality education for all people in their mother tongues. The Philippines had a promising kickoff of the International Decade of Indigenous Languages last year. UNACOM, along with different government agencies, the academe, Indigenous peoples communities, young people, learners, and non-government organizations shall ensure that we will double our efforts in co-creating programs and projects that respond to the urgent call of safeguarding our linguistic diversity. To name some, the Tebteba Foundation spearheaded the 2022 Philippine Conference on Indigenous Languages in October 2022, and meanwhile, UNACOM and the Department of Foreign Affairs co-hosted an online forum on the state of the Philippine Indigenous Languages entitled More Than 100 Ways to Say. We at the UNESCO National Commission of the Philippines stand ready to serve as a bridge in weaving together a strategic and coordinated national response in realizing the vision of UNESCO through the International Decade of Indigenous Languages, aligned with the targets set out in the Sustainable Development Goals. With all this said, I am both excited and challenged to reinforce the work that we do. I hope that this 3-day event would bring us steps closer to pursuing genuine and responsive programs in safeguarding our linguistic diversity for our learners and beyond. Thank you very much, and mabuhay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Henares.